Good morning, everyone. Last time we have discussed about the substitution nucleophilic reactions, that is the SN1 and SN2 reaction and their mechanism. And afterward, we have discussed about the stereochemistry. We have discussed about the optical isomerism. We have discussed about the racemization and racemic mixture. Today we are going to discuss about the elimination reaction. What is the elimination reaction? That is the removal of the particle to make a saturated system in the form of the unsaturated. Here this reaction is called dehydrohalogenation or the beta elimination. So we are going to discuss about the beta elimination. So in the beta elimination reaction, we treat the haloalkane with the help of the alcoholic KOH. In the alcoholic medium, the KOH works as a dehydrohalogenating agent or the beta eliminating agent. Even we have seen that in the case of the aqueous medium, that was working as a substituting agent, that was substituting the chlorine to the hydroxyl. Here this is the compound, that is the CH3CH2Cl. When it is treated with alcoholic KOH, it forms CH2 double bond CH2 along with the KCl and water. Here you can see one of the halogen is eliminated with the hydrogen which is situated on the beta position. Then this is called the beta elimination. And this alkene, this haloalkane is generating a system which is a symmetrical alkene or perfect alkene. In this case there was only single beta carbon, but if there is more than a single beta carbon, then what will be the condition? This is the compound CH3, CH2, CH, Cl and CH3, that is the 2-chlorobutane in presence of alcoholic KOH. When you will see the compound, this is the alpha carbon, and the carbon which is directly attached to the alpha carbon, that is called the beta carbon. So there are two beta carbons. Having two beta carbons, there are two conditions, that is the beta elimination can take place from the carbon number 1 or the beta elimination can take place from the carbon number 3. Then from where the beta elimination will take place? In the last year, that is class 11, we have discussed that the beta elimination takes place from the bulkier most alkyl group, and this rule is called the Sedgwick rule. So according to Sedgwick rule, the beta elimination will take place from the bulkier most alkyl group, and this is the bulkier most alkyl group. So if the beta elimination will take place from here, the compound will be CH3, CH, double bond CH and CH3. Sometimes we think that the whatever the product is forming, that is the only product. It is not the only product. This is the major product. That means the maximum amount of this product is formed, and this product is the butene. Then this is the butene which is prepared by this process as a major product, and this is called the beta elimination. I am just trying to explain why the beta elimination is taking place, why not the substitution is taking place. When you will compare the aqueous KOH and the alcoholic KOH, the only difference is the medium. In the aqueous KOH, it is the water, and in the alcoholic KOH, it is the alcohol. What is the difference between in these of the two mediums? Why these of the mediums are changing the overall property of the reaction? In the aqueous medium, the system is giving the substitution reaction, and in the alcoholic medium, the system is giving the elimination reaction. Actually, what happens during this process, a carbocation formation takes place, somewhat like this one. And in this carbocation, there are two chances. First one, either the hydroxyl will approach or the hyperconjugation will take place, or the shifting of bond will take place. If the concentration of hydroxyl ion will be greater, if the approach of the hydroxyl ion will be quick, then it will form a substituted product, chlorine will be substituted by the hydroxyl. But if that condition is not appearing, if that is the condition when hydroxyl group approaches after the shifting of the bond, then the shift of the bond will take place, and that will lead to the formation of the alkene. And this is the major difference in between these two. The aqueous medium generates the greater dissociation. That means the greater dissociation of the potassium hydroxide takes place. That means the greater concentration of the hydroxyl ion is generated there. Due to the greater concentration of the hydroxyl ion, system is giving the substitution product. But in the case of the alcoholic medium, that is the alcoholic KOH, the amount of the dissociation, that is the dissociation of the KOH or the generation of the hydroxyl ion becomes lesser. Due to the lesser amount of the hydroxyl ion, what happens? The substitution product is not obtained. It is the elimination product which leads over the substitution, and this is the reason why in the case of the alcoholic KOH it leads to the formation of alkene, and in the case of the aqueous KOH it leads to the formation of the alcohol, that is the substitution product. This is the only difference in between these two. Now we are going to see the next one, that is called the organometallic reaction. That is the reaction of any organic compound with a metal. And here we are going to see the preparation of Grignard reagent. Before discussing the preparation of Grignard reagent, we knew about the Grignard. He was not a naturally chemist. He came from the other subject and discussed the chemistry. He was a mathematician, so he came from the math and discussed the chemistry. Generally, when a mathematician came in chemistry, he discussed about the physical chemistry, but he did not discuss about the physical chemistry. He discussed the organic chemistry, and he done well. He prepared a very important compound that is called the Grignard reagent. So we are going to see the preparation of Grignard reagent and the property of the Grignard reagent. We prepare the Grignard reagent by treating the haloalkane with the magnesium under anhydrous condition or under presence of the dry ether. Then this is the RX, that is the haloalkane, which is treated with the magnesium in presence of dry ether. It forms RMgX, and this is called Grignard reagent. Or you can say alkyl magnesium halide. The alkyl magnesium halide itself is known as Grignard reagent. Then this is alkyl magnesium bromide, and this is called the Grignard reagent. Now, if we are taking a specific reaction, here we have taken a dummy reaction, we are going to take a specific reaction. Then this is the CH3 CH2 Br, that is the bromoethane. When it is reacted with the magnesium Mg in presence of dry ether, it gives CH3 CH2 MgBr, that is called ethyl magnesium bromide. Then this is the ethyl magnesium bromide, which is well known as Grignard reagent. Then this is the ethyl magnesium bromide, this is called the Grignard reagent. This is the product. Sometimes you ask that why the dry ether? What is the use of the dry ether? Why we are using the dry ether? When we talk about the dry ether, why we are using the dry ether? Dry ether is only used to generate the anhydrous condition. That means to create a complete dry condition. Why? When we talk about the nature of the Grignard reagent, that is vigorously reactive with the water, and the moisture is everywhere available in our atmosphere. Under general atmosphere, the moisture is available everywhere, so that can react vigorously with the Grignard reagent. To avoid the presence of water, we use the dry ether. Then this is the use of the dry ether, and this is one of the most important compound that is called the Grignard reagent. Now, why Grignard reagent is so important? When you will see the nature of the compound, the magnesium is attached with one of the alkyl group and one of the halogen. Surely with the halogen, the system have a perfect ionic bond. But when you will see with the alkyl, the system is containing a covalent character. So one bond is perfect ionic and second bond is covalent, and that is the uniqueness of the system. As a result, what happens? A selected bond participate in the reaction. The other bonds which are not needed to participate in the reaction, they are not going to react. Only those of the bonds are reacting which are necessary, which we are trying to get reacted. And this is the reason why the Grignard agent is so important, intermediate, that works as a intermediate. Now we are going to see another organometallic reaction, and that is your well-known reaction called Wurtz reaction. So here we are going to see the Wurtz-Fittig and Fittig. In the Wurtz reaction, when haloalkane is treated with sodium and dry ether, it forms a dimeric product. You can say dimeric. Two alkanes combine with each other to form a final product having 2 times of the carbon. So this is the Wurtz reaction. RH, that is the haloalkane, is treated with another haloalkane in presence of sodium and dry ether. What happens? The halogens removes in the form of the sodium halide and it forms R, single bond R. Or if we are taking a specific reaction, this is the CH3 CH2 Cl. When react with itself, that is the Cl CH2 CH3, in presence of sodium and dry ether, the removal of halogen takes place, and from the position from where the halogen is removed, from the same position they combine with each other to form the product, and the product is CH3 CH2, and next species was CH3 CH2. From these of the positions the halogens were removed, so they will be bonded to each other and they will form the butane, and this is called the Wurtz reaction. Wurtz reaction have some limitations. You have discussed in the lower classes, that is the class 11. We are going to discuss it again. The Wurtz reaction have some demerits, some problems, some limitations. What are the limitations? The Wurtz reaction cannot be used for the preparation of the odd carbon system. If you are trying to prepare a system having 3 carbon, 5 carbon, 7 carbon, that is the odd number of carbon, that's not possible. 1 carbon system cannot be prepared by such type of reaction, that is the combination reaction. 2, 3 and 5 carbons can be prepared, but in this reaction what happens, when the reaction will proceed, some of the byproducts are formed. In the case of the odd carbon system, some of the byproducts are formed, and it becomes very difficult to remove those of the byproducts. उन byproducts को निकालना, उनको remove करना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है, और अगर ऐसा होगा तो ऐसे reactions इस तरह के product के लिए proper reaction नहीं माने जाएंगे. So that reaction is not the proper reaction for such type of the product. We are just trying to see that how that happens, how the byproducts are disturbing the major product, or how the byproducts are disturbing the Wurtz reaction. Here we are trying to prepare a propane, and in the process I am taking 2 different compounds, that is the chloromethane and the chloroethane. It seems that in presence of sodium and dry ether, when it combines, the 2 chlorines removes and it forms CH3 CH2 CH3, and here it seems that there is no any difficulty, everything was proper. But when you will proceed a reaction, whether you will take a single molecule, whether it's possible to take a single molecule, surely not. You can't take a single molecule, and if you are not taking a single molecule, then what? Then you will take more than a single molecule, and then what will be the condition? The ethane, the chloromethane can combine with chloroethane, product will be propane. Chloromethane can combine with itself, or chloroethane can also be combined with itself. Then what will be the product? If the chloromethane combine with itself, then it will form CH3 single bond CH3, that is the ethane, and if the chloroethane will combine with itself, it will form CH3 CH2 combined with CH3 CH2, that is the butane. when you will see these are the three compounds, these two are the byproduct, the middle one is the major product, whatever we want to form. हमें ऑड कार्बन सिस्टम फॉर्म करना था, तो ऑड कार्बन सिस्टम ये है, ऊपर नीचे वाले तो इवन कार्बन सिस्टम्स हैं. So when you are trying to form this one, these two are the byproducts. How will you remove these of the byproducts? Because these of the byproducts have very small variation in their boiling and melting point, 5, 6, 7 degrees Celsius. And we have studied that at least 25 degrees Celsius variation is needed for the fractional distillation. That means for these of the compound, the fractional distillation is not possible. That means their separation, the easy separation of such compounds is not possible. And if the separation is not possible, then what is the use of such reaction? If we are not capable to get the pure substance, and this is the problem with the Wurtz reaction. It's enough for today. Next day we will discuss about the different similar type of reaction, that is the Wurtz-Fittig reaction along with the nucleophilic substitution reaction in the case of the halorine. Till then, thank you. Have a nice day.